We are going to write or read the Firefighting Bovine Quest. And according to the backside, this is a moving adventure. So let's see if you guys think it's a moving adventure or not. Before we get started, this is my first reading of this book. So we have to start properly. And the way to do that is to celebrate by opening this Breckenridge Bourbon Whiskey Reserve Blend. My dear wife won this for me a couple of weeks ago. That was her only task was to win the race and get me a bottle of whiskey, and she did spectacularly. Um, so we're gonna open it. There we go. I will clean up after this. Don't worry about it. Hmm. So let's try this out and see what happens. Maybe I should give a little introduction here. Okay, so first off, this whole thing came about with us watching Monarch Legacy of Monsters on Apple. And my big complaint um, on our way to a race when we got 10 hours of talking is the Monarch universe does not have any bovine representations. You got lizards, you got moth, you got snakes, you got monkeys in form of King Kong, but no bovines. And I was pretty upset. I was also pretty bored on the drive. So, Chapter 1: The Unlikely Dream of Firefighting Bovines. Renee Foster Griffin sprinted through the fields of Hooker, Oklahoma, his thighs roasting in the tight shorts that hugged him like an overambitious burrito. Each pounding step was punctuated by a desperate struggle against the heavy weight of existential dread crashing down on him like a lead balloon. Hitting mile 22 of what he called a spiritual jog, he felt more like a diner grease than a gazelle. Every sweaty ounce of him longing for something deeper than the buzz of endorphins mixed with the tang of spring wind. What am I doing with my life? He huffed, dodging a rogue tumbleweed that rolled across his path in a reckless pursuit of freedom. Running is fine and all, but what do I have to show for it? Just an aching back and two almond butter energy bars that weren't even satisfying. He let out an exaggerated sigh, wondering if his running buddies were all too caught up in their own lives to realize he was in full-fledged midlife crisis occurring right here on mile 22. Maybe I should have picked hot yoga instead. At least there I could have failed spectacularly with some stretchy pants. Just then, in front of him, a peculiar sight caught his eye. A piece of bacon. Not just any piece, mind you, but the largest, most vibrant slice he'd ever seen was bouncing across the grass like it was on its own mission. "Wait a second," Rene shouted, his heart racing faster than his legs. "Is that bacon?" He squinted ahead, wondering if he had succumbed to heartstroke or if the bacon gods were real and had sent their emissary to enlighten him. The sizzling piece of pork turned a surprising shade of pink, and, with an impressive display of aerobatics, somersaulted into the air, glinting in the sunlight like an exalted meat javelin. "All right, this has officially crossed the line from weird to utterly epic," he muttered, the curious thought sliding into his mind like a wobbly jello shot. What if he could turn this obsession with running and bacon into an actual life goal? I think that's a good time to test this out. bacon. Everybody loves bacon. Huh, okay. Bacon, he shouted at the piece, as if it were another runner. How about a firefighting bovine brewing company? Imagine a farm with bovines that breathe fire and produce gourmet bacon. People will line up for blocks. They'll be like, hey, have you tasted the latest firefight ale? And I'd be there sipping a brew and wearing a crown of bacon strips. Much to his surprise, the bouncing bacon seemed to pause mid-pirouette. Perhaps this was a figment of his imagination, but for that brief moment the crispy meat appeared to nod approvingly, as if to say, "You got it, buddy." "Why not? What's stopping me?" he exclaimed, practically slapping himself back into reality. "I could turn this running gig into a full-on delusional ambition. Firefighting Bovine Brewing Company, here I come." He could see it now, a sprawling farm filled with friendly bovines basking in the sun, unleashing streams of fire while feeding him delicious bacon-flavored dreams. Would they bob their heads to the beat of the local country music? Would they be democratic or perhaps enlighten him with their bovine wisdom? "Yo, Rene, you're losing it out there," interrupted a voice in the distance. He turned to see his friend Farrell, the local redneck philosopher, hurrying to catch up with him, his mustache flapping in the wind like a small flag announcing, "I know things." "Farrell, did you see that piece of bacon?" "It's not just bacon, it's the key to my destiny," Rene replied, beaming as he gestured wildly in the direction of where the bacon one once was. "Bacon's always shown me the way," Farrell said nonchalantly, wiping a bead of sweat from his brow. "Just the other day I was thinking about how it's always made my breakfast better, but never my philosophy. But what you're talking about, it sounds more like a carnival act than a brewery. Is that what you see, where you see your life going?" "Not just any act," Rene replied, fueled by a dreamy fervor. "This would be a revolution, a movement. You have to admit that cow-fueled madness with firefights would draw crowds. I mean, vegan umbrellas and tofu bacon can't compete with the spontaneous combustion of bovine flatulence." Bell chuckled, his laughter echoing as it rolled through the field. "All right, I guess that could work. You'd only need, what, some cows that are into drama and a rod for roasting mallets. Kind of makes sense they'll be producing that juicy stuff. But what if they turn on you? The firefighting bovine might just see you like set your grill ablaze." "I'll be ready," Rene proclaimed, his arms flailed like a windmill's as he envisioned the first international event, the inaugural Firefighting Bovine Cook-Off Festival. His eyes sparkled with mischief. "Think of all that bacon. People from far and wide embracing spicy, porky freedom." "Just make sure you have a good fire extinguisher handy," Farrell replied, scratching his head with an amused grin. "Like I said, we don't want any accidents at the county fair now, do we?" As they continued to run, Renee felt a giddy surge of creativity pulsing through him. Every stride radiated excited energy, as if the universe was fanning the flames of inspiration with every flick of his feet on the grass. The dream began to unfurl into something tangible and odd, an adventure that could transform not just his own life, but also those of countless bacon enthusiasts, fellow ultra-runners, and fire-loving mammals alike. "Well, I'll tell you one thing," Renee exclaimed, the air around them buzzing with possibilities. "This is definitely going to be my biggest and most absurd quest yet. I'm going to find those legendary firefighting bovines. They will be the secret sauce to my dreams." "Just remember one thing," Renee Farrell cautioned, a knowing grin crossing his face. "All good quests must begin with a noble quest for bacon." "Oh, it always comes back to bacon, doesn't it?" Renee chuckled, the two friends bounding forward into the sun-kissed horizon, already making plans for a fiery future peppered with laughter and unlikely bovine friendships. Quest for the firefighting Bovine Brewing Company had officially begun. As Renee galloped across the verdant tapestries of Hooker, Oklahoma, a sudden whim swept over him, swirling through the very fibers of his consciousness. The faint echo of his ambitious proclamation about the firefighting bovines lingered in his mind, and soon the world transformed around him. With every stride, reality grew fuzzy at the edges, melting into a surreal landscape where the improbable became the absurdly possible. Suddenly he was joined by a herd of majestic fire-breathing bovines, their coats shimmering as though they were painted by an overzealous artist wielding a flamboyant brush. Each bovine galloped in sync, flame flickering from their noses like candles on a birthday cake, while they busily munched on field grass, the ground beneath them igniting with every trusty hoof. "Renee!" one of the bovines bellowed, its voice deep and booming like a country music icon. "You're running with us now. Let us lead this revolution of bacon." "Whoa there!" Renee exclaimed, pumping his leg faster in sheer excitement. "Am I dreaming? Is this even happening?" "Dream or not," chimed another bovine bearing a fiery grin, "you hitched your wagon on the right herd, my friend. We're the legendary firefighting bovines. You call for bacon, we deliver." "But how?" Renee asked, nearly colliding into a low fence as he tried to keep pace with the inferno on four legs. "How do you produce bacon and breathe fire at the same time?" "Ah, the secret lies in cosmic energy," replied the rotund bovine with spiraled horns, nodding sagely. "You see, when we exhale our fiery breath, it's the universe's way of channeling all the bacon dreams that lie within. It's a delicate balance. And wait, so every time you graze, you're fueling your bacon-making power." Renee wondered aloud, visions of celestial bacon spinning around his head like confetti. "That makes no sense, but it's genius." "At times, genius dances in the absurd, my marathon running friend," answered the stunning bovine adorned with brightly colored feathers that flickered in sync with the flames around it. "Of course, it's like bacon is the nectar of dreams," Renee exclaimed, awestruck. "So if I can get some of you to my brewing company, I'll be set for life." The herd snorted in amusement, for they were not bound by earthly constraints. The lead bovine leapt into the air, landing with a fantastical roar that sent sparks flying. "To make a fire-fighting bovine brewery, you must first embrace the fire that fuels your passion. Show us your heart." Renee felt an electric tingle course through his body. The fanciful cows danced around him, twirling beneath a swirling sky of pink and green that felt alive with possibility, enveloping him in their fiery wisdom. It was in that moment that the outline of Standing Bear, a character from the depth of his subconsciousness, started to take shape amid the cosmic chaos. "Hey, it's Standing Bear!" Renee shouted, nearly tripping in his excitement. "What are you doing here?" Standing Bear, a delightful amalgamation of feathers, dreams, and philosophical delusions, floated on a gentle breeze, his imaginary presence flickering like an old projector. "I have come to remind you of a truth, Renee," he declared with a sage-like authority that echoed in the ethereal. "Dreams require great sacrifices, and, my good friend, your quest must be seasoned with a dash of absurdity." "Why is everything so bonkers?" Renee stammered, gesturing to the flaming cows twirling on wild choreography. "I need to get started on my journey, and all I see are hallucinations." "Ah, but think of it this way," Standing Bear continued, seemingly unfazed. "You envision the taste of success, yes? But it means nothing without the oddities to spice it up." He nodded knowingly. "The cow of fate is the spicy one. Listen to the buffalo and follow the flaming path." "So it's about embracing the wild side?" Renee asked, his intrigue deepening. Are you saying I should just run with these flaming cows? Precisely, roared the lead bovine, flames now swirling into a dazzling spiral around him. Let your heart ignite. Write your own destiny, dear human, but beware. His fiery eyes glinted mischievously. One must protect against the dreaded vegan army. Renee received a faceful of smoke as the entire herd burst into laughter. The vegan army? Don't tell me there's a rebellion against bacon. Oh, indeed, Standing Bear chuckled, floating closer. They roam the plains with their tofu shields and kale-laden regrets, disrupting the celebration of the glorious pig. They think they know the way, but it is pathless. Only by unleashing your burning desire for bacon can you find your path. What should I do about those hostile vegans? Renee pondered, clenching his fist. I'm prepared to fight back if necessary. Fire for bacon. I shall lead the charge. First you must pull from the power within, Standing Bear replied, glancing knowingly at the bovine brigade darting around him. Let the flames of your ardor fuel your journey. Only then will you rise above the ranks of the mundane and seize the day, my fiery friend. Fire it is. But just so I know, how do I win over these magical cows? Rene asked, feeling like he had stepped into a reality show where both the quirky and the outrageous could thrive together. Start with a song, the cows erupted, forming a circle around him, their flames glittering like disco lights. They began to sway, beckoning him to join their rhythmic dance. And the strangest event unfolded. Rene couldn't help himself anymore. He found his feet moving, his arms swinging. What should I sing? He yelled out over the cacophony. Something about bacon, they chorused in unison. German techno would work too. Bursting with energy and inexplicable inspiration, Rene stumbled through lyrics that encapsulated his newfound zeal. With flames so bright and bacon on the side, we are the firefighting bovines on a wild ride. Our hearts are bold, our thoughts are grand. We will take the world by storm, make our stand. I need to put this on a cut. The cosmic figure cheered as the flames ignited into a chromatic rainbow, swirling around him in a dreamlike haze of color that pulsed in the rhythm with his heartbeat. Conversation with imaginary bovines and celestial mentors filled Rene's mind, whisking him away to greater possibilities than he ever anticipated. The dance continued, and amidst the giggles of cows and the advice of an ethereal animal spirit, he felt the flames of his own ambition blazing fiercely. Perhaps it was absurd, perhaps it was befuddling, but one thing was clear: his quest was only just beginning. Rene burst through the front door of his family home, his heart racing with excitement, and a cacophony of jubilant thoughts thundering in his mind. The faint smell of bacon wafted through the air like an inviting hug, immediately igniting his adrenaline with a hunger that was more than just physical. Mom, Scott, you're not going to believe what I've just discovered, he yelled, suddenly forgetting the panting fatigue from his run. His mother, Lisa Marie, a sprightly woman of 56, with an unwavering spirit and a keen sense of humor, looked up from his skillet, a sizzling army of bacon strips dancing in shiny grease. Renee, honey, before you tell us, I just need to grill you about something. Don't burn it, Scott, his 43-year-old brother, and the steadfast voice of reason chimed in, raising an eyebrow as he rummaged through the fridge, his brow furrowed in mock seriousness. Because you know that overcooked bacon can lead to existential crisis. I'd refer you to the studies I read last week if I had the time. Scott, Renee interrupted, hands alight with excitement. Focus! I found my calling. He spread his arm wide as if trying to envelope the room in his enthusiasm. I'm going to create a firefighting bovine brewing company. Miss Marie nearly dropped the spatula as she stared at him, her eyes sparkling with both disbelief and delight. What now? Are you serious? Absolutely, he replied, practically bouncing on his feet. I ran with these magical cows. They breathe fire, and believe it or not, they produce cosmic bacon. I'm going to harness that to create the finest brews Hooker, Oklahoma has ever seen. Are the cows vegan friendly? Scott asked deadpan as he poured himself a glass of orange juice. Because if I recall correctly, the vegan army doesn't take too kindly to firefighting bovines interfering with their tofu dreams. Exactly, Renee said, laser focused. I'll have to find a way to negotiate a truce or incorporate something like vegan umbrellas into the business model. Lisa Marie chuckled, swirling the skillet with a flamboyant flourish. Umbrellas? She asked, raising an eyebrow. Those fancy flimsy things that are supposed to protect you from the rain? Better watch out for the wind. It's the slippery slope from brewing to barbecue. Mom, Renee giggled, his enthusiasm cutting through the layers of absurdity. What do you think? Does it sound viable? How can I say no to a dream filled with cows and bacon? She replied, sweating the swirling smoke around the pan. I'll write you a poem. In the land of dreams, where cow dance and swirl, bacon fire farts take you into a whirl. We'll fry the beef with love. Can I quote that from my business plan when equipped filled with cosmic comedic inspiration? But seriously, I need your help. I need supplies. Supplies, Scott Joel, heading over to the pantry to see where he could scrunch up. Is that code for bacon? Because I'm brimming with ideas on overcooked bacon recipes. He pulled out a dusty cookbook titled Bacon Adventures: The Sizzle Journey. Oh, we could have bacon wrapped tofu, bacon flavored smoothies, or get this, bacon infused coffee. Scott, Rene laughed, shaking his head. I don't need your bacon related endeavors. I need real stuff for a quest. Right, right, Lisa Marie injected, her eyes popping with mischief as she suddenly began rifling through the drawers. Let's see, a backpack, protein bars, a guide on vegan-friendly bacon. You'll want some of the sort of bacon shield, obviously. Oh, and definitely a bottle of some kind of. Before she finished the statement, she produced a small bottle labeled Essence of Bacon. For confidence, of course. Olive oil gets bland. This essence will add zest to every morsel. Mom, what even is that? Renee laughed, half expecting it to bubble and burst into flames. I can't take a bottle of essence on my journey. Why not? Scott chimed in. There could be a market for it. Bacon cologne might just revolutionize the world of body sprays. No, please, no, Renee groaned, leaning against the fridge for support. Focus. I need essentials, a map, a fire extinguisher, perhaps. Good thinking, Lise Marie exclaimed, rummaging through the kitchen. Suddenly her eyes gleamed with wicked inspiration. I know just the thing. She proceeded to craft an eccentric assortment of items from the depths of kitchen cabinets and drawers. A bottle opener shaped like a cow, a backpack decorated with hot dogs, and socks with little bacon strips peppered all over them. Mom, this isn't a costume party, Renee protested, holding up the socks. I need gear, not fashion choices. You'll want bacon-themed motivational quotes to keep you inspired on the road, Scott declared, grabbing a pack of sticky notes and fashioning a makeshift quote wall. How about, if you can't handle the sizzle, stay out of the frying pan, he recited with melodramatic zeal. Or better yet, to fumble is human, to fart is bovine, Lise Marie added, snatching one of the sticky notes and sticking it onto his shirt. Before he knew what was happening, you must wear your motivational quotes proudly. Otherwise, how will the universe know you're serious? Renee stood there, mouth agape, taking in the kaleidoscope of impracticality engulfing him. This is not exactly what I envisioned when I said I want supplies, he said, unable to suppress a chuckle. But not bad either. Exactly. Here, take this. Lise Marie handed him a frying pan fashioned into a makeshift shield. The power of bacon will protect you from judgment. Partly. And always remember, Scott added, holding out the essence of bacon, the world needs your ambition. Let your aroma take flight. He then dramatically thumped his chest before saluting with easy grace of someone imagining himself atop of a mount of bacon glory. As the bizarre supplies were piled around him, Rene felt a mix of encouragement and a mirthful frustration brewing in his chest. He deeply appreciated the spirit's support from his family, even as they spun fantasies that twisted the normal boundaries of practicality. Okay, heroes, he said, a smile breaking through his mock exasperation. I appreciate the enthusiasm, even if it's a little off the wall. But I swear, once I make this brewing company happen, you'll have the best bacon festival this town has ever seen. To the bacon festival, Lise Marie shouted triumphantly, raising her spatula as it was a sword on the battlefield. To firefighting bovines, echoed Scott, raising the frying pan shield into the air with exaggerated gusto. Rene laughed, taking a moment to let it all sink in. You guys really believe in me, don't you? More than anyone else ever could, Lise Marie said with unwavering pride, wrapping her arms around him in an exuberant hug. Thus, surrounded by the wild spirit of love, eccentric supplies, and words of support, he quipped, now let's see how a firefighting bovine brewing company conquers the world. And that was the end of chapter 1. You'll see how you guys like it if you want to hear more, or if that's enough nonsense from you, Renee. Cheers, everyone.